I may not have seen dowries in my life, but I've seen great people. I've seen families when their children get married, put the down payment on their house. I've seen them buy them cars, or I've seen them set them up with trusts or abilities to do those things. So it's really not. There are people who still do some form of that in today's world to make sure that the new marriage has a foundation, and it involves both families, right? In a way that's for it. It creates that contractual, solid footing to move forward in. And so don't discount it just because of a patriarchal thought, or just look at it and say, hey, how does this apply to our life with Christ, right? God sets us up so that we have a strong footing. Commitments, right? Both of these things are engagement is a commitment, right? Both of these are very committed things. Engagement is a commitment of your full self and your life, right? This is why it's so costly. Right? So that's why they'd say the cross is costly, right? When we come into this, is a full commitment. And then there's a waiting period, right? I know she took 12 months to do this. There was a process of going through meeting, being asked to come back, doing those different things. But there's a waiting period. We're in a waiting period for the bridal dinner, right? We're here on earth, right? There's always that time between when we get betrothed to when the marriage happens, right? And that's because it's a different level, right? There's a different understanding. Commitments change minds. Commitments makes things different, right? And we have to look at that and allow that time for that time to transpire, right? Because the severity of the understanding of the marriage, makes the engagement even more severe as well too, right? You raise that up. So, because marriage is designed for forever, right? Our life with Christ is eternal. Right? Our marriage is designed for forever. All right, so when we see all this preparation and detail that's being taken in order to make Esther ready to marry King Xerxes, right, then we have to consider, what's clear. What does it really take for a young woman to transform to be the queen in the marriage? What does the king have to provide? What does the king have to do in order to be ready for those things as well? The resources and the weighing of the commitment for a period of time, they kind of encapsulate all this. And when we become part of God's kingdom of the church, this is what we're doing. We're entering to this engagement to be the bride of Christ, right? There's a story in the Bible where he talks about the bridegroom coming back, and he talks about the 10 virgins in the room, and some of them run out of oil, right? And then he comes, and there's only just a few that have oil in there, and it's like, hey, we got to prepare for the waiting period, prepare for the engagement, because the king's going to come back, and if our lamps don't work, right? That's the deal, right? So there's a preparation that has to take place. There were some that prepared and some that weren't prepared to wait that long, right? They didn't have that understanding. And we have to be ready, right? Because that's when Christ comes back.